Welcome Falun, welcome to this little introductory course consisting of about 30 minutes of Cuban salsa body movement and a bit of footwork to follow up with that. If you don't really know who I am, well, I'm David, I'm 28 years old. I teach Cuban salsa in Gothenburg, Sweden, and I learned in Cuba, but I'm bringing to, so I hope, a European way of dissecting some of the steps, because when I started out myself I thought it was kind of difficult sometimes to figure out how exactly one should put the moves together. You know, like it's one thing to see a super good Cuban dancer and just like be able to copy exactly what they do, but sometimes it's a little difficult if you're not a super experienced dancer. And then in that case I personally would have preferred, when I was learning to dance, a bit more explanation. So I'm also in my classes focusing on a bit of explanation. Okay, so we'll learn, I mean there's so much to be said about body movement. One of the things we can say about it is that body movement is the thing that gives good salsa dancing its distinct flavor. We could say that without body movement, then whatever spins you learn with your partner, they look kind of boring, because even while you turn and while you dance in couple, you want to have, even if it's just, you know, like we can start with something as basic as fundamental posture, body tension. You want to have that, but also, and we will learn a little bit about this today, we want to be able to move our, especially upper body, in different angles into different directions, because we will be always stepping our steps in Cuban salsa most of the time. It's not so often that we stop and we focus on body movement exclusively, meaning that we focus on moving only our upper body, but most of the time we're still stepping while we need our body movement repertoire, and we actually trying to kind of separate these two parts of our body. So we have the lower part and the upper part, and your final goal in the end would be that you manage to step with your feet to the beat, and in the upper body you have something else happening which can play with the music. Now this might be long in the future for you. I don't know what your level is exactly right now, but I just want to paint a picture of how it can be in the future. Okay, separating. So body movement is a lot about isolation, meaning moving your body into different directions in space without moving other parts unintentionally. Example, the shimmy. You can shimmy like that, where it's relatively tight, or you can shimmy where everything else is flying around and moving all over the place. Which, you know, it's better to shimmy like that than not at all, because you want to enjoy the music, but technically you want to get to a point where you can control exactly what you're doing without you know, moving parts you're not intending to move. Okay, so because we already started with the shimmy, I'm gonna just like start here. The shimmy, and some people have problems with learning that, is basically your shoulders twisting forward. So what we have is that, and for most people it's easiest to start shimmying having the hands down here in the back, or maybe hold on to something here like pants or a shirt. It's easier than to have the arms up here for most people. So this is like the easiest stage. Now, how to shimmy is basically shoulders pointing forward. Yes? So it's basically shoulders pointing forward. The shoulder consists of like three parts. The front delta, if you look at my shoulder, I'm not sure it's super visible here. The front delta is the part here in the front, and this is the part that you're aiming to push forward. So it's not so much that the upper body is moving, right? It's not the whole thing, it's only this. Yes, and what helps some people is, if you imagine there's a string somewhere in the wall, and that string is pulling you forward, like one at a time. Forward, 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 forward. It's really important that you learn to control that before you do it fast. So it's better to start slow, forward, 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 than to do it fast but not technically correct, okay? It helps also if you use your arms and use them as a lever. What do I mean by lever? By lever, I mean that you use your arms, you have tension in the arms, and then you use the arms to push forward the shoulder, to really push it out. Out, 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 out. So you can transfer some of this energy through the tension in your arms into your shoulders, so that you're not just completely free up here, but use the tension in your arms to kind of lever the shoulder forward. Okay, this is kind of how basic shimmying works. And what happens then is, once you feel like you have the proper range of motion, meaning once you feel you can really push it forward, then you can start speeding it up. So maybe we will start like this, and then you can slowly continue to make it faster and faster. Now that I already mentioned the word, sorry, which word did I mean? Oh yes, now that I already mentioned that we have this forward movement, I also want to just stress again that shimmy means moving the shoulders forward in space and not up and down. We need the up and down dimension for other movements. This is just forward. Yes, shimmying always just happens forward. Good. So this is kind of like the first thing that every new salsa beginner wants to